Hi everyone, this is Rachel from the Shades of Orange. Today I'm here to do a review of the new nonfiction self-help book, Better Than Before by Gretchen Rubin. Now, I received this book as an early release from Netgalley in exchange for an honest review. I read it on my tablet, so that's why I don't have a physical copy to show you. But prior to reading this book, I had previously read both of her other nonfiction books, The Happiness Project and then the follow-up, Happier at Home. Particularly, I love The Happiness Project. I know it's not for everyone, but for me it really just hit home. I really enjoy the idea of making simple changes in your life in order to just make it a little bit better, a little bit happier. And I was just admittedly always a fan of this original book. So I was really excited to get a hold of her newest book. In case you don't know much about it, her newest book focuses on the idea of habits. And before reading this book, I really hadn't given much thought to the concept of forming habits and keeping habits. But after reading this book, I'm much more interested in the topic and have been looking forward to reading additional books on the topic just to find out more about it. When you think about habits, it's really the idea of things that you do every single day, whether they be good habits or bad habits, whether you're brushing your teeth, going to the gym, or anything like that. You know, it's if you're doing it every day consistently on a consistent basis, it's a habit. Now, I found the ideas and concepts described in this book to be very well researched and well thought out. Gretchen Rubin clearly did a lot of research into the concept of how we form habits and really spent a lot of time delving into the different areas of basically how we form them, how we keep them, and why we then can break them. Sometimes even overnight, someone can go from, say not smoking for 10 years and then pick up smoking again in a day. And she really does a thorough analysis of this whole spectrum of the habit process. I just found it very interesting to read, and it's definitely the kind of book that as you're reading, you're intended to kind of self-reflect on your own goals. Personally, I recommend that going into this book, it's really helpful to actually think about what types of goals you want to accomplish yourself, and then be able to apply those ideas that you're reading about in the book to your own personal life. Now, there's lots of good advice covered in this book, including the concept of monitoring. So basically there's an old business term that's you make what you measure. And so just simply by tracking a habit, you're more likely to be following it. Ideas of accountability, which makes sense. If you tell your friends, all right, I'm going to stop eating sugar, I'm going to eat more healthy, you then have that accountability of other people knowing what you're trying to accomplish. And I love the idea she talks about of convenience, where having your gym clothes right by the front door when you go out is going to make it more convenient to go to the gym, or alternatively simply putting a noisy lid on a cookie jar makes it harder to go and steal a cookie because you're going to have that big clunk of the jar that you have to pull off. And it's funny how just those small changes can really help to break or make habits. And those are just a couple of the ideas. There's tons more in the book, so I'm not spoiling the content. There's so much more in there. It's definitely a book that I intend to reread as I continue to work and develop different habits, and it's the kind of book that you'll go back to once again and again because there's a lot of valuable information she talks about. Now, at times Gretchen Rubin has been criticized that a lot of readers don't necessarily relate to her and don't necessarily jive with her personality. Personally, I don't think I'm very similar to Gretchen Rubin. A lot of ways I think we're very different personalities. We have very different outlooks on life. However, I found this book to be quite balanced. While I recognized that she was quite different than me, that didn't stop me from enjoying the book and finding value in it. As well, not only does Gretchen Rubin talk about her own experience, but she also talks about some of her friends and family. So even if you don't necessarily relate to Rubin's perspective, chances are you'll relate to her sister or her friend or her father-in-law. So I found that a really nice perspective that even though I wasn't necessarily the exact same personality as Gretchen Rubin, I found I could still find people in this book that I related to and was able to take their experience, even if it was a different kind of habit they were forming, and apply that same logic to myself. So really valuable book if you're looking to form any kind of habit, whether it be flossing more, exercising, cooking more at home, whatever you can think of. If it's a habit you want to form, there is applicable information in this book. So that's my recommendation of Better Than Before by Gretchen Rubin. I'll leave it up to you to decide whether or not it's a book for you. Honestly, if you're a fan of The Happiness Project, chances are you will really enjoy this one. I think Better Than Before is actually better than The Happiness Project in my opinion. It's just a little well researched, a little more balanced in terms of the personal narrative, and I just found this one to be really enjoyable. If you're not a fan of The Happiness Project, I can't guarantee you're going to like this one, but definitely if it sounds like your kind of book, go pick it out. I am filming this video ahead of time, but by the time you see this live, this book should be available at all major retailers. So definitely recommend checking it out, and let me know your thoughts down below. If you have any questions about the book, feel free to leave a question and we'll chat more in the comment section. Thanks everyone. Goodbye.